What the heck? It's Halloween. Hello people, it's me, MasterJakeStudios, and it's a remake of my first MJS Gaming video, Top 10 Creepiest Gaming Mysteries and Non-Horror Games. That is actually one of my best videos to date, but the amount of Easter eggs or gaming mysteries that I missed off the list just seems like a massive slap in the back of the head, so I really wanted to make a remake of that video, so that is what I'm going to do today. Alright, the rules for this list are as follows. 1 per franchise, and Easter eggs and gaming mysteries that were on the previous list will not be included in this one, and from non-horror games only. So now, I won't keep you waiting. Let's get on with this list.
Number 10.
First up, we have the Tails doll theory from Sonic R. Now I know a lot of you hate Sonic R because of its atrocious controls, but people who have played the game will know of the character, the Tails doll. The Tails doll sort of controls a little differently from the other characters, because it floats. But so many rumors have been spread that unexpectedly the Tails doll will come out of the game and murder you. The ways to trigger this theory include listening to one of the game's songs, Can You Feel the Sunshine, in reverse, or go to a tag race and tag Sonic last. But is it true? I guess we'll never know.
Number 9.
The next mystery is from one of the greatest games of all time, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. After all, it does contain one of the greatest creepypastas of all time, and that is the Ben Drowned creepypasta. Now this creepypasta is based on a cartridge that a guy called Jaducible got of an old man. But I don't have enough time to go through the entire thing. If you want to go through the entire thing, then just watch the original video, or watch Yuri of Win's video, which is the best take on it, in my opinion. Right, so anyways, the game plays pretty well, except that there are some jumbled text messages along the way, and there are some NPCs that refer to a character called Ben. Link would also get teleported to random places like the moon. Also, he would be given the message, "You shouldn't have done that." Not only that, the masked salesman, yeah, that creepy guy, would also flash several times up on the screen like this. But I'll just ask one simple question. Who is Ben? Well, Ben is known as a spirit who is able to haunt several game cartridges or electronic devices, and he chose Majora's Mask, and takes the spirit of the Elegy of Emptiness statue, yeah, the Link statue. His eyes stare into your soul. Another thing I should mention about the Elegy of Emptiness statue is that it stalked the player around the entire game. Underwater, above ground, it didn't matter. It was still there. So many things were stuffed up about the game. There were so many glitches, and Link catching on fire, twisting his body around, and the file select screen turning into a game over screen. So, the truth about this? It's fake. Yeah, I know this is very disappointing for a lot of you, but it is fake. Jaducible himself said so, that the game was just a hacked cartridge he provided himself with. So, I'm sorry, but it is fake.
Number 8.
Anyone who knows me well probably knows that I don't play Call of Duty that much, although I think it's a pretty good game series. I just haven't played it much, that's all. But I do like to watch the Achievement Hunters videos. And another person that I found out about this Easter egg by is the Sticky Paddle, also known as Mullet Mike. As I was saying, I'm not an avid player of Call of Duty. I mean, you know, I'd rather inspect some fish and chips. But the Easter eggs they decide to put in the game are just, oh my god, awesome. And they have pretty cool backstories too. but the best by an absolute mile is found in the M-3 Sanctuary. But in order for you to understand this Easter egg, we need to view one of the cutscenes from the game in London.
You got it? Are you recording? Okay, so this is day 3, London, and we're off to... Sarah, tell Daddy where we're going. We're going to Big Ben. That's right, Big Ben. Oh, there it is, sweetie. It's right there. Honey, are you getting this?
Come on, get closer.
Daddy, look over here! Look at me, Daddy! She is really hyper today. Sarah, don't go too far. Birds! Look, Mommy, there's birds! That's your daughter. You know she gets that from you.
As sad as this cutscene is, did you know that the people that were killed in this explosion still haunt the area? Around the cemetery, there are several flower beds with purple flowers. If you crouch down low and walk through these purple flowers, you will hear voices.
Sarah, don't go too far.
Sound familiar?
Sarah, don't go too far.
There are also other voices that can be heard. The reason why I find this Easter egg so weird and creepy is just how twisted the voices sound when they're in the game. I mean, compare the original voices to the ghosts' voices.
Sarah, don't go too far. Sarah, don't go too far.
And this Easter egg was so weird and twisted enough to make it up on number 8 on my list. Congratulations, Call of Duty.
Number 7.
Not just yet. Let's go back to Portal 2. Remember how I talked about Doug Ratman and how he was in the background during the end credits? Well, I received a lot of comments about that and how wrong I was. But there's another urban legend, and it has something to do with this character.
Here come the test results. You are a horrible person.
So we all know GLaDOS has an awesome voice and attitude.
I'm a potato.
But there's a lot about her backstory that is just really weird. Have you noticed that GLaDOS sort of represents an upside down human being? And that's because she once was. Before GLaDOS was GLaDOS, she used to be someone called Caroline, who was the secretary of Cave Johnson. In fact, I don't even think she wanted to become GLaDOS, but I think she had to for some reason. Now in Portal 2, there are some lines from Caroline that weren't used.
Mr. Johnson, I don't want this. I don't want this. No, listen to me. Sir, I do not want this.
There was also supposed to be some dialogue from Cave Johnson, but he refused to record them because the voices sort of sounded like rape. It might not be intentionally creepy, but it definitely seems like it is.
Number 6.
Admit it, this song was your childhood. A true classic Disney song that is now really annoying to listen to. But I think it's worth looking at the actual ride itself at Disneyland. Notice the clock tower face. It's smiling at you. It's fine, right? I mean, the ride's okay, so how bad could it be? Well, what would happen after all those years, after the ride had been sick of listening to that same song all over and over again? Well, that's exactly what the creators of Epic Mickey had in mind. We got this! The song has been replayed so much that the clock tower has finally lost its own mind. And that is exactly what is portrayed in the music playing right now. Take a listen. clock tower, the first boss in the game, is absolute childhood kill. Now, as disturbing as the music is, you might notice something missing from it. The lyrics. Now, some guy actually edited the music and added in the lyrics. But what he didn't know was that the creators of the game had the exact same idea. But they didn't do it due to copyright issues with Disney, which doesn't really make sense. I thought Disney was the one that made this game. Not, well, never mind. But after listening to the version with lyrics, I'm glad they stuck without it.
Number 5.
Is Luigi's Mansion really a horror game? In my eyes, it isn't. It's more of an action game, even though it is kind of dark and it isn't a haunted house and all. But it isn't really a horror game. However, if you think it's a horror game, then imagine what the beta would have been like. The beta was originally going to be much darker. It was going to have a time limit, and if you didn't finish the game in the time limit, it would have been game over. But we'll get back to that soon. What we're actually looking for happens during the blackout scene, where lightning strikes and causes a power cut. However, in the attic, there are 3 telephone boxes. If you answer the middle one, and wait for lightning to strike, you will see a very strange shadow. Oh, whoa, 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 go back, there, right there, see that? Interestingly enough, this has been rumored to be the shadow of a hanged Luigi. So normally I would disapprove of this stuff, but there are some things that could make this true. First off, when Luigi enters the room, his shadow is on the floor. When the lightning strikes when he's on the middle telephone, the shadow is on the wall. Secondly, if Luigi is holding the poltergeist, then why are his hands on his side in the shadow? A user called The Trees Apprentice posted a video about this theory, and he made a few good points as well. In the shadow you can clearly see the Game Boy horror and part of the poltergeist in the shadow. If you look closely you can also see part of the telephone, and that so-called arm by his side is only the poltergeist tube. But the most obvious point of them all is if Luigi hanged himself, why is there no rope? So that is that mystery out of the way. Now, as I said before, the game had a much darker tone to it during the beta stages of the game. And when it was released, we all know how unsettling the game over screen was. Well, guess what the game over screen looked like in the beta version.
Why would you do that? That's not funny at all!
Number 4.
My little pony, my little pony.
Wait, stop the video. My Little Pony? Creepy? What? I hate to say it, but something happened about it that really outdid its lightheartedness. And it all starts at the fan site Equestria Daily, where they put up games for people to play on the browser. But one of them was more unique than the others. There was a game that you could download called the Luna game, but most of the other games on the website you could just play in your browser. This one you needed to download. So now to the actual gameplay. It starts off pretty lighthearted. I mean, it's not really that creepy, but don't let it fool you. After 30 seconds of gameplay, the game would crash and send you back to the desktop screen. Except by now the game would have hacked your desktop wallpaper, and it would have changed it to this. As soon as I found out about this, I immediately confirmed that I would never play this game ever. In fact, on the exact same day, the creators of the website took the game down and blocked it forever. Since then, the creator of this game has gone on to make even more lunar games, all with their own scary pictures. But the thing is, the longer you look at it, the more files of the picture will come up in your folder or computer. The entire thing came as a massive shock, and although this may be viewed as a horror game, the game is just your average platformer. And it isn't exactly the gameplay that hacks your computer, so it does qualify for this list. But it's horrifying!
Number 3.
On the original list, I included a creepypasta from a game that didn't exist. But this one had a similar concept, and it was from a game that actually did exist, and that was Berserk for the Atari 2600. Basically, it was just one of those hard games where you have to just go around, shoot down enemies, and proceed to the next stage.
Ha! Gay!
No, you can shut up, Senior Chang. The main antagonist of the game was a guy called Evil Otto. Yep, truly evil. Basically what Evil Otto did was invade the level whenever you took too long. And trust me, that happened a lot. Because of the stupid whichever way you put it, Evil Otto does not look very evil at all. But then again, he looks very evil. In an insane kind of way. And insanity and creepiness were proved by Evil Otto himself, when in 1982, a young boy died of a heart attack after recently posting his score to a leaderboard. Now, as much of a coincidence that this may seem, the year after, the same incident happened with another boy. Otto has been described by Crack.com as the single most evil character in a video game. He literally just watches his players to death. Now, the only reason why it's only number 3 is because this could possibly just be a whole coincidence. And due to the lack of information I was able to find, this possibly could just be a whole coincidence. But if it is, then it's a good coincidence, because I am now afraid of this game.
Number 2.
Warning, the following video contains large amounts of bleeped swearing, on my part. Mainly because this mystery is freaking insane. Viewer discretion is advised. Gygus. And seriously, I'm not even joking. This guy is stuffed up beyond imagination. And in fact, I think it's the most scariest Nintendo boss to be ever made. And no, it's not some creepypasta based off Gygus that's the mystery. Gygus is the mystery. So we all know that this boss is fucked up beyond belief. Skipping ahead and avoiding some of the game's backstory, Gygus can change shape and shift into any form, and they're all equally disturbing. Also, Porky Minch fights alongside him in the battle, but he's a total jerkface, so we'll ignore him for now. No Happy Wheels pun intended. Actually, if you've noticed, I've referred to Gygus as a he. Well, I shouldn't have, because I have no idea what fucking gender he is. But man, this boss has a weird backstory, I reckon. Okay, just dumb goofiness aside, you should listen to his origin. Apparently the creator of Earthbound, E-Toy, based Gygus off a childhood trauma, where he walked into a theater and unintentionally saw a rape scene.
Ha! Gay!
Shut up! So as the years passed, E-Toy carried around this trauma with him, and as a result, he decided to base Gygus off this trauma. Although the symbolism is very subtle, except for one obvious one. Yeah, rather symbolic. But that's only the beginning. In case you haven't noticed yet, the Devil's Machine sorta looks like how shall I put this? A woman's birth canal? Yeah, tell me that does not resemble that at all. Because it immediately does, now that I think about it. And just to add to the disturbingness, if you look very closely at Gygus' second form, it resembles a fetus. There, I outlined it for you. I know a lot of you think this is old news, but this is for all the people who don't already know. Earthbound is a fucking rated E game! Alright, time for the recap. 10. The Tails doll theory. 9. Being drowned. 8. The MW3 Sanctuary voices. 7. GLaDOS. 6. Ruined childhood. 5. The Luigi conspiracy. 4. There is a virus on your computer, kill it with fire. 3. Evil Otto. 2.
Number 1.
Something that really irritated me about the previous list was that there was nothing from Pokemon. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I could have chosen Creepy Black, Lost Silver, Red Raticate, I don't know. But I guess I could have chosen at least one, but I didn't. And that's why I created the remake. So for number 1 on this list, I have chosen the most obvious one out of them all. Lavender Town. Oh, I can just hear all the creepypasta fans screaming in pain. But I think there's a lot more to this mystery that hasn't been said. Well, at least not enough times. But let's get the obvious stuff out of the way first. Lavender Town is an area in the game, which is sort of like a graveyard for old Pokemon. But the thing about this place is, it's haunted by ghosts. And the music here is surprisingly disturbing, even for the 8-bit genre. Basically what happened, it was rumored that when the game was released in Japan, the amount of children's suicides rise dramatically. For those who didn't commit suicide, they either suffered severe headaches, bleeding from their eyes or ears, or other symptoms. Luckily, all of this is fake. But there is a part of this that could actually be true. The original soundtrack of Lavender Town contained different tones. These tones were removed during the US version, mainly because they did actually cause headaches. Not severe ones, just minor. Although the bit I'm talking about are the missing frequencies. Apparently there's a creepypasta posted about how a guy studied the frequencies of the Lavender Town original soundtrack. What he found in the frequency waves was not what he expected. Now, take a listen. You see, the audio transcript hides the picture of a Pokemon ghost and several unknowns spelling out the words, "Leave now." And something even stranger is that these unknowns didn't even exist in-game until Generation 2 came out. But this soundtrack is from Generation 1. In fact, even I took the liberty of checking the original soundtrack, and apparently, same thing. Interestingly enough, the static that follows can actually cause seizures if you listen to it with headphones on. But that's only something I heard from a YouTube comment, so I don't really know if it's true. So many people have studied the Lavender Town syndrome and the missing frequencies to create their own theories for this creepypasta. A more recent theory has a player play Pokemon on his computer using an emulator, but then suddenly the game gets stuffed up beyond imagination, just like Gygus. Despite trying to reset the game again, the game would even be more glitched out than before. Now if you haven't noticed, notice the Pokemon White Hand. No, not the name, that's the YouTube guy. I'm talking about the icon. Usually a character is on its side to symbolize that he is dead. That sprite would also reappear in 2 different places. However, many people are wondering if the guy who started all this, Blame Truth, is just lying. Well, we don't know exactly for sure yet, but most of what I've said so far is actually true. And if it isn't, then it was very convincing. In fact, there's actually been a case where a guy was addicted to the song and actually died because of it. The guy who posted this article reported on how he found the missing frequencies. Now we know that happened then, but where is he now? Well, there is actually a part in the creepypasta that explains it. Wait, actually, no there isn't. But what if you took the first letter of every paragraph and put them together? It would spell out You know, upon actually editing this video, I had to stop and take a break because I was actually getting a headache from the music. And I'm not even joking. Ultimately, the thing that is so creepy about this creepypasta is that it's still going on right now, as I speak. Things like screamers are only startling, but anything extremely subtle like this can really send the creepiness through the roof, and it deserves the #1 spot. I am MasterJakeStudios, finishing off this remake of my first MJS Gaming video, and Lavender Town has gone OTT.
Ooh, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the doctor. Doesn't even really matter who am I even talking to? Oh yes, you, the wannabe Einstein, mad as the stars. Travels through time, but with no clouds, saving the world while you dilly-dally. You can't even invent your way out of Hill Valley. Calm down, will you? Everything is going to be fine. They're not gonna tear any wonky holes in any fabric of space and time. Actually, it's a lot more like a rug, really. Oh, but never mind. Let's just say there's an infinite number of me simultaneously kicking your ass with rhyme.
Great Scott, you're great! Not! I spit it hot and generate way more power than 1.21 gigawatts! I'm not sure what sort of scientific authority you purport to be, but I'm a real doctor! Where'd you get your degree? Despite all your companions, you couldn't be having less sex! I don't know what's lame, your fans or your special effects! You don't get another turn to debate! Time to face your permanent fate! Now lick my balls!
I'm going to die. At least, this version of me. Perhaps you'd like another. Prepare to meet your density.
I'm a mystical medical talk at the pinnacle shifting my physical form. You're a possibly pedophilic individual who should have never been born. You got your niggas in a twist while you're sucking on my Piccadilly. But I'm a lot different, cause you're a pitiful hillbilly hanging with an edible kid who's a buck chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.
This is between us, Scarfy! Don't try to outrun me! You'll find I'm as grimy as any slimy time limey! I'll use your porta-potty time machine as my latrine! You're not a cat with 9 lives! You're a pussy with 13! Who won? Who's next? You decide!
So we all know that this boss is fire trucked up beyond belief. I have no idea what fire trucking gender he is. Earthbound is a fire trucking rated E game!